Let's talk about 5 easy to avoid founder mistakes. First is a missed 83B election. Usually when founders acquire their stock, it's subject to vesting. Essentially, an 83B election is an election by a taxpayer to be taxed on the full value of their shares, even if they're not fully vested at today's value. There's a 30-day hard deadline to file your 83B election. Missing the 83B election will often result in a huge financial mistake for the founder as your shares vest. Make sure to timely file your 83B election if your shares are subject to vesting. Second mistake is not actually owning shares in the company. Just because you formed a corporation and didn't take any other action doesn't mean that you actually own shares in the company. You need to document the authorization, sale, and issuance of shares to you as a founder. Just forming a corporation without doing anything else doesn't actually mean you own shares in the company. Third is waiting too long to form your corporation. Sometimes founders wait until they get a term sheet before they form a corporation. The problem is the term sheet usually has a valuation of the company attached to it. Now, when you go ahead and form the company, you have to take into account that implied valuation of the company. You'll also need to do a 409A valuation to determine the value of the common stock you'll acquire as a founder, since investors will usually acquire preferred stock. When you acquire common stock as a founder when you just formed the company, the shares are essentially worth nothing. But when you wait until you have a term sheet, you're now acquiring much more expensive preferred stock, and you'll have to pay additional fees to get a 409A valuation to determine how much you'll have to pay. Fourth is starting out as an LLC. Now, there's nothing wrong with starting out as an LLC if you know what you're doing. I have another video on this topic, so make sure to check that out. However, if your goal is to raise venture capital money, the most common way to do it is as a Delaware C Corp. Now, you can convert from an LLC to a C Corp, but the longer you wait, the more expensive it could be. And the fifth mistake is not following to learn more and not signing up for the newsletter.